Now, the majority of people in the world right now have like a 9 to 5 style kind of job, and a lot of the people I speak to want to get out of it. But a lot of them complain that they feel stuck because the job doesn't pay them enough money to allow them to save up to start a business that they've always wanted to get up and running with. Well, if you don't know who I am, I'm Michael J. I build 6-figure businesses, I've built 7-figure businesses, and it is my passion and calling in life to teach as many people how to do the same. So you can leave that shitty job behind and that nasty boss that you can't stand. And in this video, I'm going to go through my top 5 side hustles that you can get going with immediately with little to no money. So as I mentioned before, a lot of people complain that they can't leave the jobs and start a business because they can't afford to do it. Well, there are hundreds of side hustles out there to allow you to get them up and running with little to no money or even very much skill, and you can do it at the side of your 9 to 5 job. Especially now with this new online working era, especially from COVID starting, right? There are many jobs out there where you can basically be your own boss and you can work online at home. So you're not only your own boss, it's very flexible and you can work on your own terms, which means you can decide how much time you want to put in, which means that you can decide how much money you can earn. So you can earn just a few £100 a month if that's all you're looking for, but you can scale that up to thousands, if not tens of thousands a month, depending on how much time you put in and how much skill you've got. So let's get straight into it and let's dig into the options. So the first option I'm going to talk about today is to rent your car parking space out. So you've obviously heard about renting your room out, right? Through Airbnb, for example. Well, now there are plenty of platforms out there that are going to allow you to rent out your parking space if you've got one, and you can make the most of that space that you don't even really use and earn a nice passive income. Now, this is probably the most passive income that I'm going to talk about today, because all you need to do is put your driving space on one of the websites out there, and some of the websites for you to kind of dig into are Park on My Drive and Just Park. And as soon as it's up there, the customers are going to go onto those websites, they're going to look for your parking space, and they're going to pay whatever you're charging. And you can charge £5 a day, you can charge £10 a day, or you can do a weekly or even a monthly. And you can earn anywhere up to £500 per month, although you're only going to get that kind of amount if you're in a main city. So if you're out in the countryside, for example, it's very unlikely that you're going to rent it out at all, to be honest. But if you're near a city, this is a really good option. And also, if you've got like a really popular venue near you or a big stadium, like a football stadium, although with football stadiums, it's usually only maybe 1-2 days per week maximum that you can get. But still an option there for you. The only downside to this option is that it can be quite inconsistent. Unless you're in a city centre, for example, in London, and you're in a popular area, then you've got much more chance of getting that consistent parking income coming in, and you're going to get a really decent amount for it. And the only other disadvantage to this is you can't really scale it, because no matter what, even in London, the price of parking per month might be maximum £500 a month, which means you're not going to be able to scale more than that. The next side hustle idea that I'm going to talk through is delivery services. Now, all this is you being your own boss, picking things up and dropping them off. It's as simple as that. But now there are so many options out there, and so many companies are going to this business relationship rather than this boss member of staff kind of relationship. So you can be self-employed and work for these delivery companies, and you can choose when you work again. Some of those options out there for you to take a look into are Amazon Flex, so you can be a driver for Amazon and it's flexible for when you want to work. And we all know about the delivery services of food, especially from COVID, where we're all at home and just ordering takeaways every single day. And so you've got Deliveroo, you've got Uber Eats, and kind of a few more. But again, it's a super awesome little passive income, especially if you've got time on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, when I believe that's the most popular time where people order takeaways, and you can work those side hustles alongside your 9-to-5 job and earn a really nice income. The major benefits of this option is, again, you're just working for yourself. So you're your own boss and you can decide how much time you put in. The only downside to this option is you can't charge what you want for your delivery services. Usually these big companies determine what the wage is going to be, but you decide how much time you put in. So no matter how much they're paying, if you want to put the hours in, you can earn as much as you like. The next side hustle idea I'm going to talk through is a virtual assistant. Now, with this new era of online working, especially since the COVID times where a lot of people are moving online and are introducing this kind of work from home era, this is a perfect opportunity for you to offer your services to companies out there so you can help them support their business and you can earn money at the same time. Just as a little tip to find these kind of jobs, although you can do it self-employed and you can start promoting your services through social media, for example, but if you don't want to do that, there are jobs out there and simple searches that you can do. So I would suggest just using Google. Google is always going to be a friend with things like this, and just search virtual assistant jobs. And I did that last night and I found loads and loads on there, so you can definitely do the same thing. But again, this is a perfect job to allow you to be your own boss. It's flexible working, so you decide the hours that you put in. And one huge advantage and benefit to this option is that you can literally work anywhere in the world. So if you can set up a virtual assistant job with numerous companies, you don't need to just do it with one, you can do it with 2, 3, 4, 5 companies depending on how many hours they want to put you in. You know, you can literally live and work anywhere in the world. So if there's a country that you've always wanted to go to or move to, then you can just set these jobs up as a virtual assistant and then just move to that country. The only downside to this option is it can be quite limited in terms of pay. It's not the greatest pay, although the more higher skilled services you can offer, the higher you're going to be paid. The next side hustle idea I'm going to go through is selling as services on Fiverr. Now, if you haven't heard of Fiverr, Fiverr is an amazing online platform where you can literally buy any service in the world. Anything from video editing, product photography, creating thumbnails. There's literally anything you can think of. There's literally anything you can think of in terms of like an online digital kind of service. And especially with this new era of influencers and the social media accounts wanting to do more videography, video editing is becoming huge. So if you like that kind of thing, or you're good with editing or photography or videography, I would highly recommend Fiverr as a service and offering your services out there. Also with this option, you're your own boss, like many of the other options I've talked about today. You can decide how much you charge, unlike some of the options that I've talked about today. It's fast earning, as soon as someone clicks on your service and wants to buy it, they just click buy and you get the money up front. The main downside of this option is that it is becoming very competitive on there, and there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, of service offerings out there, so you've got to compete with those, right? And some of those services, depending on what niche you're in, are becoming very competitive, so you might have to offer your services pretty cheap. But for video editing, for example, you can still charge a pretty decent amount. The next side hustle idea I'm going to talk about is becoming a social media manager. Now, with this new wave of online influencers and online platforms just taking over the world, and with the fact that a lot of these online influencers are earning ridiculous amounts of money, this offers us a very good opportunity. And by that, I mean taking off some of the workload of these influencers, which is going to allow them to grow their platform and actually create the content. We can now become social media managers and do things like commenting, uploading, doing some kind of editing, and just general engagement with the community for that influencer. Now, I know some people who are actively doing this and they manage 5 to 10 different accounts, because They don't need to spend 40 hours a week on each of these accounts. Some of these accounts only need 5 hours a week, for example, and these people are earning £5,000 to £10,000 per month, which you obviously don't need to do if you've already got a full-time job. You need to work it around that. So you might only want to do 5 hours per day, for example, or on a weekend you might want to do 10 hours per day on the weekend, depending on how much you want to hustle. But you can decide how many hours you work and how much you earn. The main benefits of this option is that you are your own boss, like many of the other options that I've been through today. So you can decide when you work, how much you earn. So really flexible working terms there for you. Also, you can decide when you get big enough and popular enough in the industry how much you get paid. Although just on the flip side of that, when you're first getting off on your journey in this and you're not very well known, you're not going to be able to decide how much you earn. So there will be a kind of generalistic fee of how much these social media managers get paid out there. So you are going to have to kind of fall in line with that until you grow bigger and get more popular. But a super amazing option. Again, flexible working, and you can work this anywhere in the world. So those are my top 5 side hustles that you can get going with immediately with literally no money. Now there are hundreds of other options out there, but obviously I wanted to keep it to my top 5 best side hustles, but maybe I'm going to do another video on a few more because there are literally hundreds out there, and again, you can just pick and choose which one you want to do based on your passions and your skill set. So don't let the excuse of your poor paying 9-to-5 kind of style job stop you from starting that business of yours, because everything that I've just described, you can work alongside that 9-to-5 job that you've got. And at the end of the day, if you want to succeed, we just have to hustle. We have to put the time in. If you're not willing to put the extra time in, then you're not going to succeed, especially if you've got that 9-to-5 job and you're only living from hand to mouth. It's just not going to happen. So look into these side hustles, choose which ones that are going to work best for you, stack them up, do numerous ones, whatever you want to do, and start earning more so you can leave that shitty job behind and you can start living a life that you really want to lead and running your own business. And who knows, some of these side hustles might become your full-time thing because you like it enough, you're becoming good at it, and you're earning decent money. So that's it for me today, guys. If you have got a lot of value from this video, please like the video and please subscribe and let me get this message out to as many people as possible and to the people that really need to hear it. So that's it for me today. Until next time,